Alrighty, let's dive on in here. 4-color Saheeli. This is a deck that I was enjoying in Modern. I played in... I don't remember if it was an MCQ or the Modern Format Challenge. One of the two. Doing okay finish. Notably, these green creature combo decks gain once upon a time in this latest set. So I've basically cut 2 lands, and I've cut a couple of spells, and we've got 4 once upon a time. In addition to 4 copies of Oath of Nissa and Seasoned Pyromancer as well to provide a lot of filtering. So this is a very fair-ish mid-range decks. We do have the Saheeli Felidar Guardian combo, but by all things modern standards, Saheeli Rai plus Felidar is like pretty reasonably fair. So let's go ahead and dive on into a constructed league here and see how this one goes. There is another Modern Format Challenge on Magic Online, not this weekend, but next weekend, so a week from Saturday, that I might make time to play in. So if that's the case, something like this might be something I'm interested in playing again. This deck's very reminiscent of Tarmo Twin, if you're familiar with that archetype from on old. We have a kind of fair-ish game plan first, and then both our combo pieces kind of slot into that fair game plan nicely that also happen to go infinite together. We got a couple of Huntmasters in the deck list today, because I wanted a little bit of an extra hedge against Burn that's also like okay against like Jund and stuff like that, so we'll see how that feels. Yeah, sounds great. One thing I'm not certain on that's different from the last time I played this deck is you'll notice I'm on Arid Mesa as my second fetch land today. And the reason for that is I am playing a Hallowed Fountain as my one fetchable blue source in this deck. And the reason for that line of thinking is I wanted to minimize the number of lands I have in my deck that don't cast Lightning Helix and don't cast Helix and don't cast Voice of Resurgence. So Breeding Pool last time doesn't cast Voice of Resurgence notably. Or doesn't cast Lightning Helix notably. And Hallowed Fountain casts both those cards while being a blue source. Basic Force is a good draw here against turn 1 Swift Spear. Allows me to get my burden to play without fetch shocking, which is nice. So kind of like we gained 3 there, in a way. 420 Blaze at you. No, Moto tends to be expensive just like Paper Magic. Follows the exact same model. Yep, yeah, decks like what my opponent's playing is the reason why it's the reason why we have Huntmaster in our deck. It's the reason why we have 3 copies of Lightning Helix in the main as our removal spell of choice. Grove of the Burnwillows is actually a pretty decent draw here because it lets me play a painless land, which is why we're playing Grove. It's an always untapped land that's painless. Let's untap this bird. And now we could just be dead on their untap here, right? They have 2 cards in hand, so if they have a 3 damage spell at end of turn, and then they untap and go 3/3, we do die. Felidar Guardian is definitely on blocking duty this turn. This is that point in the game where like my opponent's got 2 cards in their hand and we're hoping to fade. Alright, sweet. Cycling the land is good for us. That means we're very likely not dead next turn. Could theoretically... God, Moto is really slow this morning. Which is impressive, because it's often slow, but it's slower than normal, it feels like. Alright. So this this. Do not have an Oath out, so I have to make the right colors. So, if they have a burn spell, they can kill Saheeli, so they don't die here. But they don't have a burn spell, so they're dead. Cast Splinter Twin. Splinter Twin resolves. Activate? Alright. Alright. Alright, so Scooze is good here. Knight of Autumn is great here. Seasoned Pyromancer I think is a pretty easy trim in this matchup. We're just not really looking to grind like that card's looking to do. Do I want Path to Exiles? A real question. Yeah, we're a fair deck. We can't combo kill to turn 3. Our deck is super fair. Yeah, this many equipment's probably a mistake. This seems reasonably clean. I could see on the draw, especially maybe I want some of these, like maybe I trim a couple of Saheelis to drag the curve down. Although having some amount of consistency in Splinter Twinning them is appealing. Maybe I just trim Once Upon a Time. You want me to trim the Stoneforge package? I wonder if that's reasonable. Just like, assume they're going to have the ability to kill it too often. What if I do this? Just like leave 3 Stoneforge and a Batterskull for like the situations where I've like already spent the removal. I've also trimmed it once. I could leave that in. Like go 2 Stoneforge and a Batterskull. How do I feel about once versus Stone? Yeah, I want the once, right? Because like finding Knight of Autumn is like key. Finding Huntmaster is pretty good too. I like that. The curve's really clean here. The problem is like Stoneforge is a must kill, but like it doesn't actually help you not die a lot of the time. Because like a lot of these decks since Stoneforge was printed, especially against my Birds of Paradise deck, have like 4 Searing Blaze and Searing Blood too. So like they're killing Stoneforge Mystic and they're like not missing a beat and killing me while doing it. This hand is not keepable even if this is a land, so pretty easy mulligan here. Yeah, I think we keep this one, right? I think I'm going to bottom Saheeli Rai here. Because I'm pretty far off from casting this. Would you take my money to play Ollie Mine? No, I don't think so. I'm kind of over medium modern decks. Hey, Sam Defee, thank you for the sub gifties this morning, starting us off strong. And Jace, welcome back to Oaklandia for the 30th month. So Goblin Guide was a bro and unmulliganed us here, so that's nice. I'll play this and pass. Is there any particular deck you'd like to see sooner, or you'd like to add to the queue, Sam? Smamdif, let me know. I'm gonna fetch in response to this trigger, because if this gives me a basic plains, I would have to fetch shock, because I only have 1 basic plane, so I want to make sure I just get that on out of my deck here before, So I want to cast this once before we path, because it's not free once we path. Voice of Resurgence is actually pretty good here. Sounds good. Well, I appreciate the support. Thanks for keeping me around. No Eidolon there is great for us. So I assume we're going to get cracked in response here. Our Boros Charms are going to 13 at worst. 13 it is. So I would have not fetched there. I think it's more valuable if the card is one of the 7 cards you want to draw. I don't understand what you're asking. I think it's more valuable if the card is one of the 7 cards you want to draw once it's in your hand. If the card on top of your deck is Knight of Autumn, you cast Once Upon a Time to put it in your hand. Oh, so you're saying I basically get an extra look with Once Upon a Time if I sequence in a slightly different manner. That makes sense. Yeah, I think that seems fine. I like that. I like that recommendation. It like gives me an extra chance to find what I'm looking for. That is a good thing to point out. So like what Burgle's saying is I can take the look with the Goblin Guide because like the chance of hitting the planes is very small, and if the Goblin Guide shows me a card that I want to draw, I can draw it, and if it doesn't show me a card I want to draw, I can shuffle it away. Yeah, I think I'm attacking. I don't think I'm gaining 1 or 2 if they draw a haste creature. I don't think I'm blocking with this. The Helix just killed our Scavenging Ooze is incredibly good for us here. Our opponent is like misassessing their role a little bit. Every burn spell that kills our creature that's not a Searing Blood or a Searing Blade is a huge win for us in this matchup. Alright, yeah, this game should mostly be over at this point. I think we were pretty far ahead. The Knight of Autumn should probably lock it up. They suspended a Rift Bolt, so we're at 11 with them having 2 cards in hand, but like I've got this Oath, this Once, and this Huntmaster, so the Oath and the Once probably turn into more life gain too. Hey, good luck, King Tower. Bring lots of tokens. He's dead, Jim. You've killed him. Huntmaster helps close this game pretty quickly, too, which is nice. It's like gain 2, put a Royal Clock into play. That powers up this token, too. I popped in to tell you, driving from Florida to Indiana at 2 a.m., my 2-year-old learned my favorite Hoogleism, rude. That's great. All right, we're at 7, and they suspended a Rift Bolt. It's a little scary. So, I think I Oath because I want to be able to hit the second Huntmaster. So I have two Knights of Autumn and 1 Huntmaster in my deck. And this gives me 2 more looks at the 2 Knights of Autumn. What's the math say? This is not one I have committed to. My guts. There's 45 cards in my deck. What's more likely? Is it more likely to hit a 3 of in 3 looks? So I am 19% to hit a 3 of with 3 looks. I am 21% to hit a 2 of with 2 looks. So pretty marginal either way, but actually slightly better to once. Get those extra 2 percentage points. Just make sure to whip out your hypergeometric calculator, you know, mid tournament. Obviously the right choice. I mean, we could have hit that on this one too, right? We don't know if it was the 5th card or not. The 4th or 5th card. Just keep it huge. Yeah, just keep your tables. Have your stats tables with you. Major path, sure. They're still dead to this, right? And we get to gain 4 more? I love the fact that because of you, I now know how to use a hypergeometric, but I hate the fact that I mainly use it to see how unlucky I am. Something like that. To be fair, most people don't know how to calculate the odds with the hypergeometric field. I had a YouTube comment that I feel like Hoaglandia would appreciate that I woke up to this morning. Someone was very upset and they had to turn off one of my modern videos because I had the audacity to say that Mox Opal should be banned in modern. They just had to stop watching at that point. Which is probably good for them. Because if they're on the Mox Opal is a fair and reasonable card train, they're not gonna have a good time in Hoaglandia. Standard builder rounds are 25. Once upon a time, there was a... Yeah, Stoneforge Mystic sounds great. Wait, so supposedly I can drag cards into play now? So we don't have an auto tapper, but we can drag cards into play. The future is now. The future is now. I wonder if that's the reason Moto's much laggier this morning. Have we considered switching Helix for Charming Prince because of the synergy with most of the deck? Now, having removal is really important, Bookie. So, like, Helix is there as a main deck hedge against burn as opposed to other removal spells, but having some amount of removal in our main deck is very important. Huh? That's a Saheeli Rai. I think I'm just supposed to go get a Batterskull against what's Merfolk Spirits. What if I slam Pyromancer? No, I mean, other than once, like, yeah, I guess Voice is kind of medium here. I don't know, the upside of, like, getting a Batterskull down here is, like, really high, right? And, like, next turn, if I miss a land, like, I'm in danger of missing a land drop, but, like, next turn I can once. Although now we're not oncing. So hopefully we draw a land for the turn. I feel like trying to turbo combo is not great. A lot of these Merfolk decks have Dismember, and they're playing Spirit, so they have paths and stuff. Oath is great because it's a thing that finds me a land that they can't Mausoleum Wanderer. I've not Lorwyn Soldier. Some number of Brazen Borrower is probably good, though. Giver's a little annoying. I assume we're about to get lorded here, too. I don't have my Sword of Fire and Ice in the main deck, which kind of sucks. Do they not have a Lord? Maybe they just have 3-drops? They could have, like, a Phantasmal Image for copying Giver. Is Corvold that really bad 5-drop that's just like worse Judith? He's the one that things. Oh, that one. You should take a peek. There's a Jund Aristocrats deck in the queue, Corvold, or EGH. Not to say I don't want your money, but I think there might be something in the queue that you might be happy with already. It's got some of him in it, and alright, so do I think I start by attacking with this Germ and see where we go from there. If they play a Lord, this is only a 3/3. So I think I want to start there. Giver is exceptionally annoying because I can deny my lifelink, which makes it hard to race here. So I don't have my Pro Blue Sword in my main deck. Otherwise, I'd Saheeli, my Stoneforge Mystic, and go get that. I don't really want to deploy the Saheeli because it can die here. I think I'm going to lead on Once Upon a Time and see where we go from there. To be fair, the Giver of... Wow, that's bad. To be fair, the Giver of Runes... the Giver of Runes can give protection from colorless as well. Yeah, the Temur Oko deck on the deck list today is the Temur deck that I had tweeted. They have Stoneforge Mystic of their own, but they don't currently have a land, so that sounds great. They don't currently have a second land, it's not a big deal. They got a Batterskull of their own. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if we draw a Felidar Guardian next turn, we can actually try to combo them. Because Felidar Guardian can cost 3 mana, because it can untap a land after it comes into play. This attack is actually good for us, because this other Stoneforge Mystic that I have in my hand is going to get to fetch up a Sword of Light and Shadow, and then this can put it into play and equip it to here, and then we'll get to hit them for 6 and gain 9. Assuming they don't have a Path to Exile, that is. Or a Reflector Mage, I guess. So there's a couple of things that can make this go sideways, but I definitely think the line, unless we draw Felidar, is Stoneforge Mystic for a sword. I suppose they could tell me to quell myself here. Is a very real option too. This Aether Vial is now on 3. We'll activate the Stoneforge Mystic for the 1 mana discount. If they don't have a Reflector Mage or a Pathier and we get to gain 9, that should hopefully buy us enough time to combo kill this game. 1 Psycho Squirrel, thanks for the 2 months. I appreciate it. Welcome back. Suppose they could have a Deputy Detention as well here. It's another card they reasonably play. They could also vial in a blue creature. Or a green creature, I suppose. If this gains life, though, it's like all we want. Yeah, the anniversary notifications don't line up with when you resub for some reason. It's really awkward. They could also have nothing. If they have nothing and we get to hit here, it's like kind of absurd for us. Like I said, a gain 9 here with the Saheeli in our hand and a Seasoned Pyromancer in play to draw 2 more is like probably enough to like get us across the hump. Because I'm assuming they didn't have a removal spell here, because if they had a removal spell, they probably would have killed this. So that means if we can like fumble our way into the combo, they should be dead. This is game 1 of this matchup, yep. Match 2 of the league overall. Yep, you have Dark Soul, Captain. Kind of surprised they didn't put this into play last turn to get the extra 4 points of damage in. Seems loose. Especially without, like, maybe they wanted to represent Spell Queller, but, like, you know, head to the Space Jam. So, Spirits isn't really a super established archetype. It's, like, an archetype that's around the fringes of the format, but it doesn't really have, like, this deck always plays these cards or never plays these cards style inclusions. After Portillo's and Giordano's, are there any other must-tries in the area? I don't think any jump out at me as, like, these are only to Chicago. There's plenty of good food in the area, but, like, not like this is an exclusive, basically. It's a pretty decent hit. Do I want to play this Voice of Resurgence first? Probably. I don't know if they have, like, a 2-mana counter or something, but this, like, makes them do anything that's not Aether Vial. And now, like, Huntmaster is actually really sweet, too, because it, like, forces them to do stuff on their turn. Alright, there's a Deputy. So, they're going to get to block, and then Giver, sure. So my germ gets eaten, they gain 4. And then next turn, so they need to play a spell on their turn, otherwise my Huntmaster flips. I don't think we're in danger of dying this turn, which is good. And then on my next turn, assuming they don't have any interaction, we get a draw step plus Saheeli copying Pyromancer to give us 2 more draws to try and find a Felidar Guardian. And we've bottomed... I guess we just fetched. So we just fetched, so what we bottom doesn't matter. At any rate, there's four Felidars and 37 cards at the moment. Spend my money playing Magic, less than paying Jeff to play Magic. Thanks for the 2 months, the tier 2 for 16 months. Let's get the numbers in the right spots. Thanks for keeping me around, Magic Applegate. I do appreciate it. Down to 12. They're pathing now. Deal. So I just have to discard this anyway, so might as well play it. They have a Spell Queller. That's unfortunate. It's probably the game. Yeah, it's probably the game. I mean, opponent's drawn. And, like, something that stands out to me in my mind is, like, being super powerful in our deck is if you, like, look at what's happened this game, my opponent's drawn 3 mana sources in 14 cards, and, like, we've drawn a lot of mana sources. I'm gonna equip this in attack. Oh, gosh, you know what I probably should have done? Huh? I guess I couldn't do that and play Saheeli. I could have equipped the Batterskull to this. I could have put the Batterskull on the bird. So they have 6, 7, 8, 9. So we're dead. We're dead to a Lord, but we're not dead to a singular... We're not dead to a singular removal spell next turn, so that's nice. Or a singular spirit. This is 6, 7, 8, 9, and we're at 12. And next turn, we actually have a chance to Splinter Twin them, right? So, like, if we draw Felidar Guardian for the turn, Felidar Guardian can blink Oath of Nissa, and Oath of Nissa can find Saheeli. So... Their giver was very, very good here. Getting our 3 more pieces of removal in post-board. Our 3 copies of Path to Exile will be very good here. Getting Sword of Fire and Ice will also be good, so we have protection from blue to sneak past a bunch of their stuff. We are out of basics. A quick glance at this board state makes it look like you're playing... How is that? Well, how many cards on this board state are standard legal? Any? What's standard legal here? Deputy of Detention standard legal? Is that it? I feel like I'm missing the joke. It's just this one, right? Forest, basic lands? Oh, more than 2 lands? It's just a long game? Alright. We're dead, right? They set this up well. So even if I equip Batterskull here, we're still dead. Yeah, I'm gonna give her of runes plus the amount of action that they had, just a little bit too much to overcome. You know, it's honestly quite impressive that they managed to make Moto more slow in this latest update. They added the drag to cast feature, so I guess that was to be expected, but Feast and Famine not very good here. Fire and Ice is. I want my Path to Exiles. Batterskull's fine. Don't worry. Next week, Wiku, we're gonna go back. We're gonna go back to a more reasonable human schedule. Yeah, Knight's actually probably pretty reasonable, huh? Because they're a Stoneforge deck in addition to Vile. I feel like Huntmaster's probably too slow here. Like, it's cute as, like, a pseudo-removal spell, but a lot of the time I would want to be casting spells on my turn. And, like, the 2 life's not super relevant. This is 4 cards too many. Voice is good at making their life miserable. Huh? We drew too many lands, cut lands, something like that. No human schedules allowed. Chat needs you 24/7. That's what the YouTube channel is for. 24/7 Hogland. Just trim around the edges here, basically. That doesn't seem unreasonable. I also like, maybe I don't need all 3 Knight of Autumns. Let's try this. I think keeping Oath on average is better than keeping Once Upon a Time. I understand what you want, zombie guy. I aim to please. Well, their only removal is generally Path to Exile, so... This hand really wants to land, but it's like playable without one for a little bit. I think there's a mono green Stomping list in Standard. I don't think there's a meaningful reason to be mono green. Wow, that's incredibly unfortunate. Holy crap. I was excited when we drew that. I was like, oh good, this is a hit basically, right? Nope, apparently not. Magic's a low variance game, etc., etc. Yeah, the blue-green henge deck is close. I'd recommend playing the blue-green henge deck. Put Oko in your deck. Oko's great. All right, we hit on a 5er. Do I take the Grove here, or do I take the Path so I can hold up a, or do I take the Plane so I can hold up a Path? I think I want access to second red. Counting birds, we're 83%. We're only 83%? Is that true? We were plus 2 cards in our deck at that point. 51, 19, plus 3, 22. Wow, that seems so low. Nah, I haven't been out to do much Pokemon. Work's been busy. They hit their second land with no help. Same time we hit our second land with double cantrip. All right, we hit a third. So let's jam this while they're tapped out. We'll blink Oath and draw a card here. Deal. Definitely want extra red for Seasoned Pyro, bro. They should definitely wait to path me there, because, like, now I know if I see a Felidar Guardian, I want to take another Felidar Guardian. Definitely in for a land. It's the real shame that we missed on turn 2 is because, like, if we would have hit the land on turn 2 with the Oath, like, we would have had a Voice in play right now, so they wouldn't have been able to just freely path that. Or maybe they would have pathed the Voice to start. Been a whole different ball game. Okay, well, they're hitting land drops, but they're missing their blue source at least. We got that going for us. Yep, they're just gonna set up and race us. It's probably smart. Start with this. Perfect. I guess this gives them a basic island, which sucks, but that's what it is. I mean, Pia and Kieran Nalaar are better in this matchup specifically, yes, but they're worse against Burn. So I played Pia and Kieran Nalaar in the past, so as is always the case in Modern, whenever you're playing, you're kind of picking and choosing what you want to beat and what you want to lose to. So this current deck list has made a conscious choice to have extra cards for the Burn matchup. I think in the current Modern format, hedging the Burn matchup as opposed to hedging some random deck like Spirits makes a whole lot of sense. Man, we are just, like, incapable of drawing a Felidar Guardian in these games, huh? Filter, filter, filter. Come on, filter, filter right now. Not quite sure how I want to use this Helix. And to be fair, Pia and Kieran Nalaar are like good in grindy games and against 5-color humans and Jund as well. I really think it's like like Affinity and Spirits versus like Burn is the parallel I would want to draw. So I can pay 1 for this Mariner, but I can't pay 1 for the Mausoleum Wanderer. But if they want to use the Wanderer to counter this, which they probably do, so they get to kill my bird, but I don't take anything here now. So like I get a 1-for-1 and like a fog, so I think that's okay. That's That's a pretty good draw. Look at that. They drew some lands, and we're keeping up now. I'd like to draw 2, please. Yep. Alright, so we're both on empty. We're both on empty, and I have 3 copies of Splinter Twin in my deck. It's been a long match. Opponent's pretty close to being clock. Of course, Moto's also running like molasses, so it's probably running like molasses for them too, though, to be fair. Yep. That one can stay there. I think Batterskull is better than my average draw. Although I'm unfortunately 1 mana short of playing and equipping Batterskull in the same turn, which is kind of sad. That's a pretty good one. See? Batterskull was much better than that average draw. That land will be hard to beat. Why? That land on its own does not beat us. They only have 2 things in their bin, and I have a Batterskull I can equip to my Birds of Paradise. So can you articulate your position why you feel it'll be hard to beat? It's like a piece of action that kind of keeps them in the game. Hard to beat seems like a mischaracterization of our current position, though. Correct, Jerry. I agree that copying my bird and losing my Saheeli to equip this turn seems like a mistake. Sure, it gives them chumpers, but chumpers aren't hard to beat. Speaking of good draws. Actually gonna go up with this just in case this doesn't resolve. I think that's worse than my average draw. Yep. Now that one might be hard to beat in conjunction with everything else. Opponent waited with that one. That's not true. They had 0 cards in their hand. That was their draw step for the turn. They didn't wait with crap. This ain't Trump's Twitter account. You just get to make stuff up here. And now, unfortunately, my Saheeli's gonna die, which kind of sucks. Yeah, I really wish Twitch would roll back their changes, however their things work. Nah, so if I copy something with the Saheeli that turn, the Saheeli dies just to the Moorland Haunt. So I think guaranteeing my Saheeli dies that turn is a big mistake. And obviously, once they play the Spellcaller, the Saheeli is... Oh, I could have jump blocked. Maybe I'm supposed to jump block there? I don't know. I guess I get to equip the bird. I want to equip the bird. I think it's right to let the Saheeli die there. If I draw another Felidar Guardian, I'm still pretty ahead. What miking camera do I use? I use a Blue Yeti microphone and a Logitech C920 camera. Send in germ back, yep. They seriously draw a Lord? Oh. Magic's such a tilting game. Equipping is sorcery speed. At least I get to do this. At least I get to do this. I have that going for me. I'm gonna fetch a shock land out of my deck and pass here. Nah, modern doesn't have a ton of long games like this. At least not between good decks, right? Like, and that's something I talk about too, right? Like Magic, modern as a format, has a lot of sweet games of Magic when you're playing bad decks against bad decks. Like, neither my opponent's deck nor my deck are particularly good Magic decks. So like, how am I gonna get Deputy Detentioned here? God, I fucked this game up so badly. That's so unfortunate. So I definitely should have. I definitely should have just equipped the Batterskull to this knight and not bounced and replayed it. All right, we get 3 looks at a Splinter Twin here. See if we can get a no justice out of this. How about 3 more looks? I would like 3 more looks. Hold on, one moment. One moment, please. Sounds right. Sounds right. All right, so there's 3 Saheelis and 25 cards right now. So we're like 1 in 10 to draw one next turn. A little better than 1 in 10. Sword of Light and Shadow, also a good draw. Stoneforge Mystic, a good draw. Was your draw step as good as mine? Was your draw step as good as mine? God, motherfucker. Ugh. God bless America, my country, 'tis of thee. We like drew so many bricks this game, just so many bricks, and like our couple of hits, just like What was their draws that game? Their draw step was their draws in order were Moorland Haunt, Spell Queller, Lord, Deputy of Detention with a Psycho Land in the middle. Like, good, just unreal. Very, very frustrating game of Magic. We had a couple of bricks on the in-between. And just like not yeah, they just like we had a couple of bricks on the in-between and they just like had a piece of action every single turn. Like their worst draw was Moorland Haunt. And like that was good enough to beat the Batterskull Germ and our Bird of Paradise, unfortunately. Yeah, this is fine. Not great, but fine. We'll bottom the Batterskull and play Oath on one. This is good in a fair matchup. Pretty dead to rights in most combo matchups. I guess we do theoretically have like 3-4. And it's just like one of those moments where it's like you have to take a step back and like think about like what actually happens in the games and like not just the result, right? Because like my opponent hit 6 pieces of action in a row to our like 4 pieces of action and like or 3 pieces of action or whatever we ended up actually having. And like our cards did so much more than their cards did on average that we were staying in the game up until that last part, right? So like even though their action density was higher than ours, we were still being competitive because our cards were just be able to do more per card. Hey, Anner, thanks for the 22 months. I'd be happy to bump JAC with that. Do you have a particular JAC? So I have an Emery JAC in there. And, or do you want traditional JAC bumped? So the traditional green build or the new Emery build? I assume you mean traditional green, right? Yep. Yeah, it was a really good set, Billy. How busted was JC with Dig Through Time and Cruise? So it's really hard to distinguish the way Magic works. So JC with Cruise was good, but it also was playing Gitaxian Probe, and like Gitaxian Probe, I think was arguably more messed up in JAC than Cruise was. So it's hard to like distinguish like which cards were like actually the issue, right? Because like Cruise was certainly good, but like Probe was absurd. Bird's actually a great hit here. Sign me up. Get to go tap land Bird next turn. Yep. This is a good die roll to win. JAC is Jeskai Ascendancy combo. Blaze it. Just a Helix steal. Looking for an untapped land that doesn't hurt us. I think I'll settle for a Voice of Resurgence. That blocks. This is like a gain 4 to 5. If we draw a land next turn, what do we play? Probably just Saheeli. So looking for a painless green source here. Well, that's mostly painless. And by mostly, I mean we have to put ourselves to 9 to cast it, which really sucks. Putting yourself to a multiple of 3 against Burn is not generally where you want to be in life. So we're dead to 3 spells here, and they have 4 cards in their hand. Thanks for the 16-month Slayer. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Block. The shame we don't have a Huntmaster here. Would be very good. So, if their last 2 cards are bricks, we get to kill them next turn. The problem is they get a redraw here. Again, it's just like why their deck is so good. Okay. Alright. Please have a bunch of 2-mana spells and creatures. Are they dead? Cast Splinter Twin. Alright. Making up for how unlucky we were last game. Yeah, Oath of Nissa doesn't care if we have blue mana. Yeah, they're really busted. I think Sunbay Canyon changed Burn in a really unhealthy manner. I've always been a big proponent of, I think, Burn being a key card. Burn being one of the best decks in Modern is really good for Modern. I've said that a lot, and I think that the Canopy lands have changed that. I think that the way in which that archetype is now good is not healthy. So that's how we boarded last time. I think I like it. Stoneforge just dies on sight, never really gets to gain life, so I think trimming down on those in favor of some removal spells and other creatures that more directly gain life makes a lot of sense. This matchup's not about grinding, so Seasoned Pyromancer is easy to cut. Voice of Resurgence blocks meaningfully twice often, so that's fine. I don't think Burn's ever been bad, but I think what has happened now is just like pushed it past there. This is probably fine. Maybe. Well then. Definitely taking Knight of Autumn here. I think I'm just playing Temple Garden tapped and passing here. I want to just like get as many lands played that don't deal any damage to me as possible this game, I think. Is ideal. If they're missing a second land, we probably have a pretty okay shot here. Saheeli Rai, yep. So let's fetch a Plains here. Pass back. Yep. I have Oath, so I don't really need red mana. Maybe that's wrong, because I could draw like Huntmaster. Oh, actually, you know what? That's probably... Well, you know... Our deck is making up for match number 2. Our deck's just like, Jeff, I know I made you really upset during match 2 today. I'm gonna make up for it. Memekin is not being played today, Han Solo. That's why it's not in the stream title. If you look in the notes column for the Memekin deck, you'll note that it's being played Friday. So for large donations, I will frequently allow the person donating to pick when it gets played. I still have 4 cards left in their hand. So many cards. This is like a gain 6, thankfully. I'm in for a bird at this point. I don't have another basic forest, so I can't play it this turn, so I'm obviously not fetch shocking to play a bird. Do we block or do we try and blink it? They're not giving me that option. Weird that they're helixing this. I guess they're just worried that I'll blink it. What do I want to do here? I think I'm going to lead on once because I can find another knight of whatever. And if I miss, I can go voice plus bird. Well, our burn plan seems to work okay. Maybe, we'll see. I guess we can still lose this game. I like Searing Blazes again. Just a helix, sure. Huh. So I think I'm gonna go voice. I think I want to just start getting set up to be able to twin them. Maybe I'm supposed to go. All right. Maybe I'm supposed to go like Saheeli Bird Path here instead of the voice. So I don't have a sword in my deck right now, population 0, because usually it's too slow. Maybe that's wrong. I'm not 100% sure how I want to board this matchup. We could just be dead here, right? Like they have Boros Charm plus a 3 ball. Alright. We're like touch and go there for a second, but I think gaining another 8 probably does it. Hopefully, fingers crossed. So how much life have we gained this game? We've gained 8, 16. We've gained 18 life this game. The Helix doesn't really count as gaining life, I don't think. Why not cast the Bird Div 3/3? Because I'm dumb. I didn't cast the Bird because I was clicking and talking and reading. Super punished. God, we're actually going to lose this game, aren't we? Good lord. This is still the second match against Bird. I think I would have killed the Eidolon. Because killing the Eidolon would have been similar. Yeah, to be fair, if we lose this game, right, like, our opponent did draw exactly 2 lands this game. Or 3 lands this game. Alright, we need them to draw a land that doesn't cycle. And then we can get into this. They draw a burn spell, we're dead though. Okay. I think it's right to just gain 8 here. So the germ doesn't have haste, but I can equip this. So we go to 10 here. So this Batterskull goes away and I can't twin them anymore, but I think this is the line. We were able to fade for a turn. What? Are we getting skull cracked? Are they just like killing the germ? Alright, this game is done. There's no other equipment in my deck. Maybe I shouldn't play this third one out. Yeah, I probably just shouldn't play the third one out. Yeah, I definitely, that last turn was bad. It doesn't matter because I didn't draw a thing, but my last turn was really bad. And we like missed playing this bird earlier this game, right? Like this should have just already been in play. If this had already been in play, we wouldn't have needed them to kind of brick there. Alright, the plan of 4 Once Upon a Time and a bunch of Night Autumns seems to allow us to salvage games against Burn. So, we got that going for us. Does Burn play light up the stage? They do not. I'd rather just have another deal 3. Against turn 1 Ghost Quarter, is Voice of Resurgence good? Probably not. I think I'd rather just have the land. God, this client is so slow. It's actually, it actually got more slow with whatever this last patch was yesterday. Which is kind of impressive, honestly. Silent clearing. Okay. My kid asked for Snickers creamer this morning in his coffee. So I laughed at his cup and poured coffee in it. I don't know if I appreciate that. Is this the first round? No, we start playing Modern at 7 a.m., which is about an hour ago. This is match number 4. This is the first game of this match, if that's what you're referring to, though. They grabbed a sword there. Okay. They might be on the Stoneforge Mystic Leon and Arbiter combo deck. You laugh, but I think there's a good chance they are. Now look at that. We're going to have turn 3 Batterskull the fairway. Do I even turn 3 Batterskull the fairway, or do I, like, just Felidar Guardian? It's probably just turn 3 Batterskull. Yeah, I think I'm just going to Batterskull. Because if they, like, path my Felidar and then hit me, I'm pretty sad. Well, now we're definitely Batterskulling. Because, they don't do the thing next turn we get to get him. We worked for our turn 3 Batterskull the honest way. Alright, so I think I just YOLO the combo here with the Batterskull in play. It's important that I do this before playing my land out, though, because if I play my land out, they can tech edge me. So again, remember, in a pinch, Felidar costs 3 because it blinks your land. Apparently my opponent has no interaction and has died. Cast Splinter Twin. Alright, so... do we just assume they're, like, playing the Eldrazi variation? I probably want this. I think I want to trim Birds of Paradise. I think I'm just doing that. And then my other question is, like, do I want Path or do I want Lightning Helix? This curve is atrocious, but, like, my opponent's deck's like this expensive mid-range deck, so I think having an atrocious curve is probably fine. Maybe because of curve atrocity purposes, we leave Path in over Helix. I have Knight to randomly gain life if I need to. Like, I like Knight in this matchup because they likely have Vile, Stoneforge Mystic, and they often play Tide Hollow Sculler, and Tide Hollow Sculler is an artifact, so Knight of Autumn kills that as well, which is great. And seems fine. Morning, Tori. Let's start with this. Yep, Pyromancer sounds great. You want to lead, so my opponent's deck is good chances a Leonin Arbiter deck, so I want to lead on my fetch lands, just so I don't get locked out of being able to utilize them without paying extra mana. Especially when there's only one in my hand. So, like, get while the getting is good. Looking for a 2-drop here, ideally. I'm down with the Huntmaster. Hey, Dig. Thanks for doling out some sub-gifties this morning. Happy Thursday to you. Thanks for keeping me around. Welcome to our newest members of Foglandia. Thanks for the 2/3 of a year, 8-1. I appreciate it. Or good one. What kind of sports balling are the Rays? Baseball. I think I'm just pathing this. I'd really prefer not to get Batterskull next turn. And, like, it always feels kind of awkward. Like, so here, this path being path and not Helix is, like, a big deal, right? Like, I killed something that Helix would have killed anyways. I had an extra red mana unused. And, like, now they get to 4 mana. Sure, you have Athalia. How greedy is it to discard a land here? Probably greedy. Probably also what I'm going to do. Rewarded for being greedy. For those of you that are new to watching this deck, the only blue card in our deck is Saheeli. So when we have Oath of Nissa, we just like don't really need to worry about blue mana. Hey, Proxytron, thanks for the 9 months of support. I appreciate it. Welcome back. I say no blocks here because this is currently making their Batterskull cost 6, so as long as this is in play, they need to draw another land to cast their artifact. Deal. I'm going to lead on Huntmaster here because I feel like it forces them to have another removal spell. So I could like jam the Felidar and like try and find my Saheeli, but I think like forcing them to try and find another removal spell here is ideal. Their hand is Batterskull +1 card at the moment. No blocks again because Batterskull. Sure. Wow, they're tech-edging me. That seems good for me. So, I could play this, but I think I'd rather just pass here and let this Huntmaster flip over. Yeah, probably good one. Probably. So, Ravager of the Fells. When it flips over, it does a bunch of damages like that. When one player casts 2 spells, it flips back over again. They're just like trying to cast their Batterskull here. I just like keep taking the hits here. I think I just keep taking the hits here, huh? I guess I could eat it. Yeah, I'm just gonna take the hit again. I don't want them to cast this Batterskull in their hand. Nice Thalia. So, to activate their Leon and Arbiter, you have to click on their card. Super intuitive. Very easy to understand. So, they very clearly don't have another removal spell, so I'm just going to go ahead and Felidar Guardian here. I'll take that one for next turn. So next turn, assuming no interaction, we have them dead to the Sponge Run combo. I will happily block Thalia this turn, so if they want to tap out for Batterskull, they die to the combo. Do you have the thing? Moto hasn't caught up yet because it takes forever, but my thing did say my opponent is conceded. Alright, well, we've not played a game 3 yet today, but we are 3-1. I'm going to play the last match of this league because I like this deck. So, people waiting for Standard. We're going to get to Standard right after this 5th match, but I'm going to play the last one because I like this deck. Yeah, they played 3 2-2s for 2 that game. And it didn't work out for them. Weird. What's my reason to go for it? Aren't we ahead as long as they don't play Batterskull? And if they do, we kill them. So the reason to go for it there is because they had made plays earlier in the game to imply they didn't currently have a removal spell. And if I go for it there and they do have a path, I'm still really far ahead. So the upside to going for it is the game ends and I win. The downside to going for it is they have a removal spell and we keep playing Magic with me being ahead. So it's really an all upside situation. It's super correct to go for it there. It's not like that was a situation where I go for it and like I likely lose the game if they have the removal spell. It was we're ahead. If I go for it and they have it, we're still ahead. So like from a game theory perspective, it was large upside or neutral. So like that's a positive EV play at that point. Yeah, they were either just dead or still losing, right? It's a great way to look at it. Yikes. All right. Let the Wurza hit the floor. Let the Wurza hit the floor. Let the Wurza hit the... Oh, we're going to get J Seed. That's exciting. Yay, Mox. Yay. I hope this card gets Moxable banned. That would be great. And we've been waiting on the card that gets Moxable banned for years. Is there like something using extra system resources on my computer this morning that I'm not thinking about? Or did Moto just add that much? Does Lutris leak memory? If I close that, that feels like it shouldn't be using 1.3 gigs of memory. It's been a while since I've rebooted that one. Weird. I think Moto probably is actually just that slow now. Moto's entering the final form. Soon it will consume so much RAM it'll crash on startup. Yeah, probably. It's actually, Moto wasn't even using that much RAM on that list. It's just like running really slowly. I just bought my opals a few weeks ago. Yeah. Hey, Blader you. Thank you for the tip. I appreciate it. Do they make casting spells more tedious on this application? I clicked my spell. Where's my thing? I assume that's for a deck list of sorts. Yeah, fantastic. I'll get that added to the deck queue after we're all done today. How much RAM does Arena use? I mean, Arena uses like 2 gigs of RAM, but that's like, you know, video games are like an application using RAM is not a big deal. Your computer's RAM is there to be used. The big deal is when the application uses more RAM than it should be using, because then it slows down because it's not supposed to be addressing that much. Or like in Arena's case specifically, Arena's a 32-bit process. I'm like 99% sure. There's an upper limit of how much memory a 32-bit process can address. Rasta, thanks for the 8 months of support there. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Now, unfortunately here, if my opponent has a reasonable combo draw, we don't really have a combo draw of our own, and past this Helix, we don't have anything else that's interactive, so... Sacred Foundry, yep. Stoneforge plus Voice. Yeah, I don't have my Sword of Fire, and I think I'd actually rather just get Huntmaster down, because I don't currently have a Sword of Fire and Ice in my main deck. And like, these Thopter tokens are blue, so without a Sword of Fire and Ice, I have a hard time getting past them. It's very possible my Sword of Feast and Famine should be in the board, and my Fire and Ice should be in the main. I think there's a very real possibility that that's the case. Huh. Wonder if I even want to spend an entire Saturday playing the Modern Format Playoff. This client is lagging so much with this latest update that I'm actually down on time against my opponents in most of these last few games. Feels pretty dead here. They have a sword in the bin from the Emery later. That's just the place, because the line here is just hope to twin them at this point, right? Which is why our deck is nice. Oh, of course Wall of Roots is still broken. Are you new here? Aren't you, like, obligated to change your username at this point, reprint to Balt? We got it to Balt, reprint. He's back. Yeah, and he's actually playable. We played him in Aristocrats yesterday. Hey, thanks for the half a year, Max. Welcome back. Appreciate you keeping me around. Well, want the 2-mana Tibalt reprinted? Bring back the unplayable Tibalt. He's the one we love. Alright, so we're dead to Urza here. Obviously. So, for people not familiar with my opponent's deck, Urza plus Thopter Foundry plus Sword of the Meek is infinite Thopters and infinite life. Is Aristocrats my favorite in current standard? I don't really have a favorite at the moment. Format's pretty in flux. A lot of different people playing a lot of different things. Neither of these swords are very good. These swords are great. As much as it pains me to say it, this is not a Voice of Resurgence matchup. Huntmaster is also pretty slow here. Our goal in this matchup is to, like, have some disruptive elements, but also be able to get to our combo pretty quickly. Path to Exile enters Emery and Urza. Do I want Scavenging Ooze here? It feels kind of slow. I don't know that I really want to cut anything. Maybe my Stoneforge Mystic package here in general is just not great. I just, like, cut Batterskull and Stoneforge. Yeah, winning this match in a fair manner is probably pretty difficult. So just, like, leaving 3 Stoneforge for 1 Sword of Fire Knight, and then trimming a Batterskull and then Stoneforge Mystic seems fine. I want to keep Seasoned Pyromancer, not because I'm interested in grinding with him, but because I'm interested in him churning through cards so I can find my combo consistently. Yeah, this seems reasonable. No, the E-League thing is single elimination. It's like basically a King of the Hill style thing. So, the deck that I played has a very medium matchup against the ramp decks, and I played against the ramp deck and died. Someone linked it? Sweet. I was pretty proud of myself, not only for finding that line, but for finding that line after I had been live for like... after I had been live for like 12 hours. I posted it on Twitter. I also posted a highlight on YouTube. Yeah, this hand's great. Always. Never not bird on one. Our turn 2 will probably be Oath plus bird. Is Mox Amber a rare or a mythic? What art is that, Gilded Goose? Is that Gilded Goose A? It's mythic? Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, if it's mythic, $25 makes sense. I mean, to be fair, it took longer than expected for Mox Amber to be busted. If you asked me how long I expected it to take for that card to be busted, I would have answered much sooner than it took. Cruel's Ultimatum, thank you for the 11 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Morning, Dude Light. Pithing Needle would be annoying if we hadn't just drawn this Rest in Peace. We also had a few looks at Scavenging Ooze to deal with the Pithing Needle with this Goblin Engineer as well, so that's nice. Yeah, definitely Bird's Paradise, right? Just go like tapped land, bird, rip. God, it's just, there's so much client lag with this update. Yeah, we're playing a modern deck that I built and like this morning, Dude Light. So hopefully we'll have a pretty reasonable run of modern decks for the next week or so. Sands. I'm only accepting dumpster fires like we had yesterday for $100 from now on. So that should cut down some of the nonsense. So we don't currently have a lot going on, but like Seasoned Pyromancer, our last card's a Divination, so I've got that going. This Modern League has lasted twice as long as one first, so that is correct. We played Blue-White Emeria Control. Yeah, they're not fun to play either. Just losing matches where you just don't have a chance isn't particularly interesting. Well, my hand previously had nothing going on. Now I get to do this. Hey, thanks for keeping up the Prime Admin. Hope you're doing swell. Huh? So do I feel like I should take Knight of Autumn as an insurance play in here, huh? I could take the land and draw 2 with the Seasoned Pyromancer, though. Hey, thanks for the 15-month scorn chips. Yeah, I agree, Slow Future. Decks that are bad that, pop off in a sweet manner, like the other old stuff, I like those. I agree, they're fun. I'm gonna take the land. This might be wrong. I don't know. The land gives me more chances to combo them next turn, and my opponent likely can't bridge and get their hand empty next turn. So I think I just want to take the Grove so I can like have max mana next turn. Yeah, I think this is ideal. Because like playing the Seasoned Pyromancer this turn allows me to draw Felidar Guardian next turn, play it, blink Oath, draw Saheeli, play Saheeli, which is really appealing. It also, in the event they have like a fatal push for this Felidar Guardian this turn, I could play Saheeli Rai, copy Seasoned Pyromancer, and play a second Felidar next turn. So it seems pretty reasonable for us. The MTG bot was recovered with all of his quotes and stuff. My opponent has disconnected. So this league's running long enough that I'm gonna foobar my ad quota, which is unfortunate. I think when we run long modern leagues from now on, if I'm gonna play all 5 matches, I probably need to take a short ad break between match 4 and 5. We'll have to squeeze some in closer during the standard portion. Alright, you have a dismember or something? Or are you dead? Oh, I'm dumb. I should have bathed this before I did this. Hopefully this is a concession lockup. I conceded to their infinite. They can't tap artifacts for mana. That's not true. Tapping artifacts for mana is an ability on Urza. It's not an ability on an artifact. So they can in fact tap artifacts for mana. Yeah, super messed up here. So my more aggressive line while ignoring... My more aggressive line while trying to get to the combo faster is going to end up costing us here. I also should have pathed this during the upkeep. Oh, do they only have one Pithing Needle? I bet they only have one Pithing Needle. I bet they forgot they binned Pithing Needle off of Goblin Engineer earlier. I bet they forgot they binned it off of Pithing Needle earlier. Alright, deal. I don't know. I mean, they might have 2 needles in their 75. Like, maybe they have, like, a needle and a spyglass. They just didn't leave both in. Because I don't think I showed any combo pieces game 1, if I recall correctly. This hand's obviously a little speculative, but I'm going to keep on the draw. I've got birds and I've got night. Just need to hit a couple of lands here. Phenomenal. And then next turn we get to play Saheeli and plus it and scry for the third land. I think just keeping a hand that could potentially like turn 3 twin them is good in this matchup. Especially on the draw with a lot of looks. Like once is a pretty live draw towards a land too. So this card doesn't actually interact with our combo because both of our combo pieces say permanent we control. So this actually it can target the triggers, but that doesn't actually redirect them. So this isn't like old Splinter Twin. I'm gonna bottom that because it's not free. You need to draw an actual land to combo them next turn. I don't know that they're officially, I don't know if they said they're officially holding off. I don't think they've announced one way or another what they're doing. I guess this lets them, the Spellskite lets them protect the Pithing Needle, which is reasonable. But thankfully I have a path for the Spellskite. So I get to go path this, Knight of Autumn this, and then activate my Saheeli. Actually, is it crazy to just kill their Arcanum Astrolabe here? I think I want to just cut them off of everything, right? I think I just do this and I like copy this and kill this. Because like my hand's already set up. Yeah, I think I just want to kill all their artifacts. To be fair, Magic Arena is also pretty hard to follow as an uneducated viewer. It just has an extension that makes it easier. And the extension's not an official Arena thing, it's a third-party thing. Yeah, it cuts them off of mana with Urza too, which is nice. So, scry, because I'm going to get to blink this. That can stay there, because if this combo turn doesn't work, I want to have some redraws. You need like Disdainful Stroked or something? Wow, we're actually getting Disdainful Stroked. Holy crap. That's actually just what happened there. Cards are a lot harder to read on Moto compared to MTGA. That's not MTGA, that's the extension. So I agree with you that the extension makes Magic Arena extremely friendly. I just also think fair's fair, that's not Arena, that's the extension. Like, you take the extension away from Arena, it's just as unfriendly to new viewers as Moto is my point. On Arena, there's literally not text on the cards. So So I'm gonna say no, that you're wrong. That the application where there's no text on the cards is not easier to read the cards. The text here is so tiny, it might as well be unreadable, but it at least exists. Whereas like on Arena, they're literally just pictures, right? Like, you're just used to playing Standard, so you're familiar with the cards. So you're confusing being familiar with things being user-friendly, which isn't the case. Man, Disdainful Stroke. I'm kind of tilted. Disdainful Stroke. I guess that card's probably pretty good in the mirror, huh? There are a lot of things that would be great additions to Arena. You can see power and toughness easier on Arena, to be fair. Sure. Sure, I agree with you on that. I'm trading here if they attack, I think. Am I trading here? I think I am. So I have a Seasoned Pyromancer on top of my deck. So like, if I can target Season next turn, it gives me extra draws, which is appealing. We're going to Pithing Needle this, I assume. Nope, their needle's in the bin. We're spellbombing Saheeli or my bird. I assume Saheeli here. I assume my bird, actually, because if they spellbomb this, I could still draw a cat, play a cat, kill them, right? So they have to kill this and hope that I don't have mana, because the Felidar Guardian resets my Saheeli. Oh, if they hold it up, I can't combo. Yeah, that's true. That's very true. You're supposed to keep a Stoneforge there. I don't know, that worked out okay. You can get a generic feeling, but you still don't understand the what and the whys. Arena doesn't make an extra effort to help players understand what the actual cards do, which is what the discussion's about. Don't get me wrong. Again, Arena is great, and I like it far more than I like Magic Online, but I also think it's incredibly unfair. It's just dishonest to say that it does something that it doesn't do, because it doesn't do that. So again, like, people have biases, and people think if this thing they like better is this thing they like better, they like make shit up to justify why it's better. When it's just like, just stop lying. It's okay to like something and be like, I like this thing, but it's not perfect. Or I like this thing, but this other thing that I like less does this thing better. Sure, but if you're a viewer at home and you don't know what those icons do, that also isn't helpful. Again, you're biased because you know what the cards in Standard do. I think we're dead here. Hey, yeah, this match has been going too long. We're not 100% dead here, but like, this is This is gonna grind us out. This is gonna grind us out. And we're way over, and I want to get onto standard. It's a bad case if I invested. Yeah, exactly. And like, I think that's why there's a lot of people who are really invested in modern, who get upset when I point out issues with the format, like talking about how Mox Opal is a card that shouldn't be legal. It's like, I get it. You spent $200 on Mox Opal. Take that out of the equation and like look at what it does in the format. Maybe you realize that it shouldn't be legal. I like how we're talking, and other people too. The other part about this discussion is people genuinely don't realize that like the extension's not part of Arena. Like the extension is what we're explicitly talking about, not the extension here. Good Lord. Just full. God, maybe we're not going to be playing much Moto. I was thinking about going back to 2 leagues sometime soon, but this is really bad. Like the amount, like I was going to pull the deck list back up and talk about it, but apparently that's not an option. I was pretty happy with the deck list. I'm going to update the list on my website to have the Once Upon a Times in it. I'm going to run to the restroom and take a quick ad break, and when I get back, we're going to play an application that's not quite this bad. I can only assume Moto heard that Arena had become incredibly slow and clunky and laggy, and Moto was just like, this is completely unacceptable. I have to be the worst piece of Magic software around. And Moto is just like, this is not good. I have to be the crappiest thing possible. Let's go. All right. I guess one thought is if Wurza's kind of like the deck to beat, maybe these Damping Spheres turn into like another Collector Ouphe and another Rest in Peace, because both Collector Ouphe and Rest in Peace are much better against Wurza. I didn't even board this card in. A third Collector Ouphe in general is probably worthwhile. All right.